Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. I don't do many of these videos very often, these sort of opinion videos, especially these kind of more broad opinion videos. But a lot of things have been hitting me the last few weeks, things I've been reading, comments on our channel, correspondence, that there just seems to be kind of a general theme that I find a little bit concerning and for that matter, disconcerting. But there was a recent article from the Bangkok Post print edition, and it's Saturday, April 10, 2021. This was in the Post bag, and I'm going to go ahead and read this. The title of the submission was Reckless Behavior, quoting directly, regarding contracting the disease is not a crime, in quote, April 8. Boomjai Thai politician Supachai Jai Samut defends Transport Minister Saksayam Chitchob for not revealing the complete timeline of his activities once he tested positive for COVID-19. But the minister's behavior is indefensible. Yes, contracting the disease is not a crime, but once he tested positive, Mr. Saksayam's duty, especially as a cabinet minister and role model, is to come squeaky clean as to who he met and when. If the names are confidential, he can tell only the health authorities, but those he contacted, regardless of profession, must be tested immediately. To do otherwise is reckless and should be a crime, for it puts others in mortal danger. Come clean, minister. So, I'm not going to get into the issues surrounding COVID. I think people can go out there, they can research, the fatality rates, everything associated with COVID, and come to their own conclusions about the quote-unquote mortal danger posed by this disease. That's not really the point of this video. The point of this video is I have just noticed in recent months especially, it just seems to be hitting almost a fever pitch here recently, the notion that people just don't really have any privacy. And like a year ago, I remember I saw some things about some government officials in Chicago were just willy-nilly divulging confidential patient information, in the midst of all this. And again, where you have a pandemic, there's sort of extenuating circumstances, public health rules and laws come into play that do create a different, framework for analysis regarding privacy. That said, my opinion is the presumption should be the notions of privacy that we usually have. And anything outside of that should be viewed as something of an anomaly, only to be used in extreme circumstances. And that doesn't seem to be the case. It seems to be the case more and more that people are just sort of accepting the notion that people have to come clean or, provide all this information about their whereabouts and their personal medical history, to the point of even having things, honestly, put in their body to check for, this virus. Now, look, I understand, where you're going to try to get on an airplane, that carrier wants you to go ahead and do that, and perhaps the accepting country, which you may not be a citizen of, wants, foreigners to undergo certain, protocols. But again, our default position, we really need to, I hope, bear in mind that longer term, we want to maintain notions of privacy. And, in the hectic times we're in, we can sort of have a tendency to just forget those things. And these are things that were fought long and hard for, notions of privacy, and are things that, in my opinion, we should hold near and dear to our heart, because if you have no privacy, really, what do you got? If everybody can just at any point tell you what to do, or tell you that you have to divulge XYZ information, or you have to undergo a medical exam, whether or not you really want to, is that the kind of society we really want to be living in? Again, food for thought, but I just have found it interesting the last few weeks, especially, it seems to have been really acute, a lot of calls for just actions that not just don't even take into account a notion of privacy, they're sort of bandied about as if there never was a notion of privacy. And I just find that concerning. I don't know how other people feel. Again, maybe reasonable people can disagree, But, I just don't think we want to throw the baby out with the bathwater and just let all our privacy go in the midst of this situation.